I asked Steve to come and share a little bit about how they implemented blood pressure cuffs and scales in their agency. So,
thank you very much. So I'm here basically to do a little bit of show and tell. And what I'm going to do is tell you a little bit about what I have to show you. I ended up bringing in the blood pressure monitor, the weight monitors, and the scales that we actually picked up, just so you can see them, because I know I occasionally get calls about which product did you choose. And thanks to Kari Health, we chose these, and they seem to be working out pretty well so far. So, what has the AGO done? We're here to ask to talk about one of the PDSAs that we completed and submitted on blood pressure monitors. The goal of this whole thing, we're looking at the HWI change package, and we've been trying to actively choose different elements to pursue. So if you look over here at our poster, there's a bunch of little different bubbles that have activities that were last updated in October, but that say the different change package areas that we're actually pursuing. And in pursuing this, we were sitting here, I was talking with Robbie Kay, I've been talking with people within the Wellness Committee and Wellness Network and the AGO, and I've just been trying to say, how can we make this sustainable? What can we actually do? We want to do that. So we're looking, and I'm thinking, well, we have dollars that are going to expire at the end of June. Physical things could help us. Changes to our internal work environment, not just in the policy phase, but also in the physical area, can help us obtain things that will create a sustainable product or program. So in here we're looking at internal work environment, and then a bunch of other things end up being implicated as a result of pursuing physical work environment that will sustain a wellness effort. So in looking at the different key changes, it ended up being we wanted to go forward and we wanted to obtain management support for what we decided would be blood pressure monitors, develop an effective wellness committee, evolve how we actually distribute those products and use them over time, test strategies, which we're doing with our monitors, create and adjust policies as necessary, and then promote some health plan benefits ultimately. So what did we want to do? We wanted to create a sustainable program that would reduce health risk factors. And we looked at our population statistics. We saw that we had over 60% of people who tested who had risks for high blood pressure, and over 30% who had risks for being obese and overweight. And we decided what would work, what physical environment change can we make. And we thought blood pressure monitors, and ultimately thought, gosh, with the weight issues also, we need to look at scales. These are things that not everybody has. We don't want people to come into a health risk screening, do it, and then have HWI go away and never have another doctor's appointment and figure out what their condition is. So we thought, bring these devices in, have them available throughout the office, and just allow people to use them and continue to monitor themselves. It's only by knowing our baseline that we know that we need to make change to begin with. So what about scales and monitors were we also thinking? We were thinking that it would create a great symbol, that these items right here would show people throughout the AGO that the AGO cares enough to provide the equipment, even if they don't use the very thing, that it's there. And it's just a little niggling reminder that the AGO cared enough to buy these things for them. What else does it do? It's that niggling reminder that we are responsible for our own health, and we should be looking and taking measurements and making sure it's all cool. So these are little items. They're out there. They're in an office. People know they're around. They're not in their faces, but they're there. So that's what we like. It's creating a symbol, and it's a reminder. We wanted there to be convenient access to everybody in the AGO, so we had to think about the size of our agency. We have 1,300 employees. They're distributed all across the state. We have about 15 different locations, and through those 15 different locations, we had 41 people identified as what we call liaisons within the different divisions to communicate directly with their people. So how in the heck do we get these things out? Well, we decided we're going to get 41 different blood pressure monitors and scales to distribute out to all those folks. Now, so what are the steps that we followed? First of all, frankly, I was thinking about the issue and I thought we can try it on a trial basis, a small subgroup, kind of doing the PDSA format and growing and growing and growing. And I thought about it critically and I thought, you know what? I can have a group of 10 people, 15 people, 20 people. They're going to try this equipment. They're either going to like it or not like it. I may have 3 people that use it, and I'm not going to be able to get support from leadership to say, well, you have 3 people using it for 15 out of 15. So that doesn't really justify buying it across the agency. And I thought, I want the symbol, I want the reminder. It doesn't matter whether everybody uses it. There will be some people who benefit in every location. So I decided I want to just go forward with this thing. But because I'm going forward with it, I do want to make sure I have some support. Because I don't want to distribute 41 different pieces of equipment at a cost of around $5,000 ultimately and have it not be used by anybody. And senior leader, Mike Bigelow, was asking, well, what do your people think? Will they actually use the thing? And I'm going, I do want to know that. So I sent out a survey to our 41 liaisons through email. I said, will you use these things? This is what we want it for. What do you think? Will people be offended? Will they like it? I did receive responses back. I had probably 1 negative response. All the rest were in favor of it or at least thought, well, we may or may not use it, but at least if it's there, maybe somebody will. And probably the 1 negative, I kind of explained it further, and they ended up being brought back to being supported. So we thought, I brought that back to Mike, and we talked about it further. It's like, let's go do it. So we decided to, like going to the moon, we decided to just go for it and buy our equipment. It's exactly the same. So what did we need to do? We needed to identify. We needed to identify what equipment to use because I had no friggin' idea what type of monitors or scales to use. And so I talked to Kari, she talked to somebody in health, and I apologize, I forget who it was. But we figured out, you know, that this happens to be a pretty good product. And lo and behold, I do end up, it happens to be the Omron, or Omron, whatever. And it's a pretty good product. It's used by by a lot of health professionals. And so we went with those specific things. How were we going to buy it? Well, I didn't really. I checked out online, and then I went to AGO Purchasing. Lo and behold, got a much lower price. I actually haven't done a lot of bulk purchasing, but I was shocked at the way they were able to negotiate on our behalf, and because we were buying 41 units, they were able to probably knock $1,000 off that I otherwise would not have. So that was an excellent thing. Distribution, all those little devices right there came to my office because I was gung-ho about it. Had to go to 15 different locations, 41 different liaisons. This was fun. And we then distributed it using campus mail, using US mail, and boy, and I was in charge of that. It was very exciting. And we did distribute those things, and I'll come back to that as there were a couple of challenges related to it.